In the heart of the old forest, a fell sword calls forth evil spirits from the Barrow Downs. Only by destroying the sword can you stop the wood troll's blight from spreading and end the forest's misery.
Welcome back, everyone, to Captain of the River. This is the final episode where we are going to look and face our third of our main enemies of the River Hobbit, the wood trolls. And I thought the best way to do that will be Woe of the Willow, which is one of the few instances that you can get at level 20 that has a good supply of wood trolls. There is a mission that we have out in Klager that could bring them to you, and maybe a couple other missions scattered about. But this is the only one that you could bring out at will that I know of that has a good supply of wood trolls in there. You occasionally get a wood troll lieutenant in a skirmish or something like that. Now, the other two enemies we have, goblins and orcs, you get plenty of goblins in Troubled Tuckborough. There's plenty of wolves in here. So I thought that we will run Woe of the Willow as our final episode so that we can face the enemy that is harder to find in there. Are you ready, Marigold? So we've got Marigold Moth in here, and of course we've got Koner. So we have a nice, fun little party here.
Everything looks so twisted, like the forest itself is angry. The sword can't be too far from here.
Well, who knows? We'll have to find out. So let us go and face these trolls. And let's roll our... Oh, actually... Okay, we can finally use that ability properly. New deed, Enmity of the Wood Trolls. I know it's very strange and specific for it to be wood trolls. Quick Wrist. Apparently some other deeds are also being unlocked at the same time. Quick Wrist. Parry enemy attacks. Well, I have no control over that one, that's for sure. And, oh, for Enmity of the Wood Trolls, we want to see what characteristic we get when we finish it. So, is it something that you'd want to be running Woe of the Willow in order to actually do in there? And here we go. Wood Trolls, Guile and Tactics bonus. In other words, unless you're going to be grouping a great deal, it's highly unlikely that this is going to be on your priority list of things to do. So, maybe that's why they chose the Guile and Conviction to be on it. The Fellowship Maneuver item in there, since Fellowship Maneuvers, well, if you're going to be grouping, it could be useful. Otherwise, not. So if you're being mainly soloing, then maybe you could delay this one and maybe perhaps wait for the mission to come out or something. Or I should say the mission to be available, since it's only available once per day and once every 3 days. But if you want it as quickly as possible, and you either like Woe of the Willow, or really want to get your deeds done quickly, this is one way to do that. Oh, and of course we get all these roots coming around here. Roots all over the place. And for you... Now this is one of those instances where I get lost quite often. So that's something I need to be prepared to happen. I just noticed that it looks like some new armor leggings appeared here, and it's quite an improvement in there. So that is one advantage of doing this instance, is you can get some pretty decent drops. Your turn. That fell spirit. Those fell spirits, I don't know how much difference killing the fell spirits and finding them all and killing them is. It implies that it helps with the boss fight. The gloom of the forest lifts momentarily. And I suspect that that little message there seems to support that it helps with the boss fight eventually. We'll have to see about that. But for now, it's how many wood trolls can I kill? Now, I wonder what the second reward is, because I was just basing what I was saying about maybe not being a priority on it being the Fellowship Maneuver item, which of course, as I said, if you solo mainly, then it's not exactly the highest priority. You need expert attacks. Is that for getting a critical or something? Let's see. Land critical hits and devastating with... Oh, it's criticals with devastating blow. Okay, so devastating with devastating blow. Now the other one I wanted to see is what is the end reward on the ratio. Enmity of the wood trolls. Now if I hit... There is... Oh yes, set rewards. Enmity of the wood trolls... See, that's the wolves. That's the celebration. Yeah, the wood trolls. No, okay, no, it does. I was just wondering, did it have a list of what you get eventually at the end? And the answer to that is no. So let's go and ouch. Of course, with the number of river trolls that are in this instance, I might even finish the first tier of this with just one run. And this instance is definitely full of trolls, especially if you do everything as opposed to skipping parts of it. Like, for example, the part I'm in right now is technically optional. You can just go straight to the boss fight almost from near the entrance, to the first boss fight that is, and just bypass these trolls and spirits. But then whatever effect the spirits lifting the shadows briefly has on the instance obviously won't happen if you go around just skipping them. But of course, if you're doing this to kill wood trolls, you don't want to skip anything. You want to kill as many of these trolls as possible. I mean, that's the point I'm running this right now. You. Alright. There's usually at least one stray. Well, I've never did figure out how to get that one without dealing with the rest of these first. So let's deal with them. Useful having a captain here. There we go. And where is... Yeah. It's like reaching this one without going close enough to rile the rest of them. Might be possible, but I was going to go by the assumption that I was going to foul up doing that. Alright, well, that's one of those areas. How am I doing on my trolls so far? Any of the wood trolls? We've got... Actually, I should just add this to the tracker. 22 of 50. Yeah, that's right. I am almost halfway to the end of the first tier of this. So, yes, that's the reason why I'm doing this instance. It's because it gets you very quickly. And river trolls are not usually... Yeah, the concept is introduced pretty early on because you do run into a... I might have said river troll there. Anyway, a wood troll, you do run into a wood troll in Bree pretty early on. well, not in Bree itself, up in the northern parts of Breeland, where you have that one, which I think you might run into the late teens or something like that, that wood troll up in the Chetwood. So you do have that quest. There's an instance in the housing, but it's not an instance, but there are those. Actually, no, those might be horns I'm thinking of that are up in the there. But you do have the wood trolls in Frostbluff, so if you're during the festival season, you can do those. There's a mission called Aberrations of Nature that you have. Of course, you can do that mission once per day it's active, or at least that's the case without spending Mithril. So you do have that option for it. Now I think I'm pretty well past. Yeah, I'm at 2720, so I am past the halfway point. And I haven't even reached the first boss yet. So right now I'm going to see, do I manage to get, now I think this is the first boss right here. Yeah, first boss. This is one of those places where I ultimately get lost.
Pesky vermin! These woods are ours! You cannot stop the march of Ongmar. Thordur will see it done.
Right. That'd be a good time to use the mark. Actually, there are many good times to use the mark. Many more than I've been using it.
Fall before us!
Yeah, now, unfortunately, doing damage is not one of the things that captains are known for.
Witness our might!
Yeah, ouch.
Fall before us!
Oh, I think Marigold is our healer. Thank you, Marigold! And so my morale way down, and suddenly it shot up. So I presumed that Marigold was being helpful there. Yikes.
Witness our might!
Yeah, I might witness it. Hey! Stop that!
Fall before us!
Well, hey, stop that! These things are annoying. Especially when they do that to you. Ah. Oh, good. The timing it didn't expire before I was able to do that before.
Us.
Oh, shut up. Yikes.
Witness our might!
Okay. Well, I am... Fine, no more might jokes. Okay, you've got...
Fall before us!
Oh. Well, at least... I guess one of the advantages of having Koner there is occasionally she will stun Koner instead of me.
Witness our might!
I am going to be very tired of her saying that before this is over. And... okay, I think we got it now. And the good news is, she will count as a wood troll, right?
But Thordur promised.
Right.
Witness our might!
That'll teach him not to underestimate us. We've
Right.
got further to go before we reach the sword and Old Man Willow.
Ooh, we get 3 barrow treasures. 3 barrow treasures. Well, I suppose that helps us with Men of Brief action. Oh, that's right. You need to do the quest, The Dead Spire, first. Wonderful. Simply wonderful. Well, I could always sell them if I can't use it now. Which is the proper way to go? That's the problem I always have with this. Alright, this is the Withy Window. I think if I go up the Withy Window, that's all I need to do in order to make sure that I go the right way. Let's see. The problem is with all the reeds, it's sometimes hard to tell which one is the direction I want. Ah, this is it. Now, this side is one that I very often skip, but since the idea here is to, in fact, if you need to summon Marigold, there's a horn here just in case you wish to bring it back so you don't have to go all the way to the beginning. This is an optional area, which of course has more trolls in it, which is why we're doing it. There you go. And you can go down. At least without a... The problem with boss fights with no ads in them is that if you have many on the feet skills, you're gonna have trouble using them. Let's see. I'd say the biggest challenge I have right now is managing to find all the trolls in here, because I noticed that this path branched. And I think so I think it's easy to skip one of the side points. We'll just have to make sure that we don't miss anything here. Hello! Oh, right, because we have more vines up ahead. And I think this section has more than one entrance, so if I go through the back, it won't lead me back here eventually. Stop being rooted. Right. Now, so what I'm going to do is I'll put a pin on that and head back here. And deal with these folk. I need only 15 more trolls to finish out the first tier of the deed. In a way, you can almost think that this is relevant to the story that we were following before, because you can just imagine that perhaps these trolls and whatever they're doing was caused by those Nazgul running through here. And they're certainly responsible for many other weird things. Now that Oopsie daisy. Oh, hello. Yeah, we got more of these things all over the place. Ah! That's why Konar has a bow. Just in case we get locked here. This problem with the captain is they're not exactly known for their options or when they're rooted. Okay, we're all set here. We have 9 more trolls that we need to finish out the first tier. I think there are more than 9 trolls remaining in this instance. There you go. Now, you may be wondering, why is this the end of the series? And the purpose of this series was to get to know the River Hobbit and have a look at it prior to my main series that I was planning with the River Hobbit, and that's the one with a mariner. Oh, okay. Was with a mariner. And I think that by the time this episode is released, I'm estimating the Mariner will be available and the pre-orders for the expansion will be ready and all that stuff. At least that's my guess at the moment. And if I'm wrong, and pre-releases aren't ready yet, and the Mariner's not ready yet, or anything like that, well, not too sure what I'll do in that case. I'm sure I'll come up with something in the if that happens. But for the moment, I am going by the assumption that we are going to have the, see this here, that we will have the Mariner. I'll be starting a Mariner series very soon. Who knows? Maybe it would have even started before this is posted. All right. Now, let's see what I got here. I have got. You're going this way, this way. Oh, this is a side passage, I believe, where I can get some more of these trolls. How am I doing on trolls? Well, I'm at 45, so I have just 5 more to go. And your turn. There you go. Okay, I guess that means 3 to go. Alright. Yes, some of the tougher... Actually, I really should be using the mark more, right? Right, okay, so we will mark this corruptor. Yeah, that's good. Mark the corruptor. The signatures probably need... Oh, well, there's also a possibility that I will level up to level 21 before I finish this. Completed Enmity of the Wood Trolls. Oh. Oh, I didn't unlock Tier 2. Tier 2 is not available yet, of course. Deed completed Enmity of the Wood Trolls. That all is done. We can then head out towards the boss fight. So yes, I don't know then what is the second tier. It's not, because it doesn't get unlocked probably until level 25 or something like that. Ooh. Alright. Guess we had to head on this way. I just looked it up, and yes, it is level 25 when you get the next tier of it. And the reward for that is going to depend on your class on how useful it is. It is the spear and spear and dagger bonus. Obviously, if you're playing a ward, that will be very, very good for you. If you're playing a burglar, it will probably be very, very good for you. They tend to like that weapon. A mariner's offhand is supposed to be a dagger, so it would be at least semi-good for a mariner. So useful for those classes to get early, and especially with the mariner, where you'd have a main weapon as a dagger until you get your LI, when it's going to be a sword no matter what. I guess we'll go more into that when we start the dagger and the mariner series. As far as I know, that's the LI is going to be a sword, but they do use offhand daggers. That's pretty much established. Now for the captain, I suppose you could use dagger and shield, so if you like to do weapon aboard, I was going to say sword aboard, but obviously the entire point of taking advantage of the tier 2 trait is not using a sword, but using a spear instead. That means a more defensive captain, of course, and less offense. So I think if you're soloing, you might not be going spear and board, but more likely be wanting a main weapon there, and I don't know, just captain with a dagger just sounds
sword one bit.
worse.
And I don't think we ought to touch it either. But if we strike it with everything we've got, even iron has to break. Let's bring the forest back to normal.
Yeah, let's bring the forest back to normal. Whatever we can do here. And give it a solid kick every once in a while also, while we're at it. Let's kill one of these things. At the very least we can. There you go. We need to deal with some of these things as quickly as possible. Fortunately, I said earlier how one of the nice things about having ads is that you can... Oh wait, with the sword! Okay, here we go. I prefer to fight the sword so I don't have to keep on changing the... Let's see, what is this thing in here? Is this a corruption? They're called the barrows. Maybe the number of the... Oh, actually, I think it's caused by all the spirits that we've got around us. Does that mean that Marigold is out there fighting a couple of spirits? Let's kick that. That's the tricky thing. Remember to kick that. So yeah, I think the captain then, if you're soloing as a captain, then maybe the troll line isn't all that useful. If you like weapon, and then maybe you can go with the sword and with the spear and that. So therefore, the troll line is probably not the best one. I'd say the captain is probably a class that doesn't synergize as well with the River Hobbit as us. The main advantage of it over the other ones is that if you prefer to play hobbits, then obviously the River Hobbit is your choice in that matter. Besides, I don't think the regular Hobbit weapons would have been any better in any case. There we go. There we go. Okay, that should be plenty of them getting down on there. Nope. Let's get our morale up. Actually, I think our morale wasn't all that much down. Probably Marigold healing me. I thought I did see it go down a little bit. It's nice to have an NPC that seriously tries to keep you alive. I'm not too sure how happy Old Man Willow is in all this. Alright, let's see. Well, we definitely... How is... Well, Koner is... Well, Koner's doing what... Marigold's probably also healing Koner, I guess. That's the only thing I have to get on that. There we go. Oops, nope. This might be the last time I need to kick the sword. It's a pretty tough sword that we've got there. Okay, that's it.
Hey doll, merry doll.
Isn't that...
Old grey willow man, mind you your mischief. Go now back to sleep, and don't be awaking. Ha ha! Thorn or sword, Tom sees no difference.
Right. Thank you, Tom.
I learn something new about my friend Tom every day. Well, never mind. It's time we went home and gave the Bounders good news.
Right. So we'll give the Bounders some good news. And that is all for this series. But I am going to be returning with the River Hobbit with the Mariner when that is ready. Assuming I haven't already started it. As I said, I don't know the exact timing of it as I record this episode. But until then, this is Pipe Needles reminding you to, well, I was going to say skirmish responsibly, but this is not exactly a skirmish. So long.